Hi guys, I'm Vaibhav Gurnani. I'm React.js team lead at Systango Technologies. So today I'll walk you through what is conversation experience and we'll talk about it. So have you ever wondered how the chatbots work, how your devices are working, how your smartphone responds to whatever you say your assistant works like Siri, Google Assistant, Alexa, Echo, like it does everything for us. We just ask, hey, set an appointment for me, and it's there. You ask location on map, it's there. You ask Tesla to drive your car, and you reach your location. You can order food online. You can do anything with these bots. So what? How are these evolving, and why is it the current time right now to focus into all this? So let me quickly give you a demo. Let me ask, hey Siri, what's the current time?
It's 9:25 p.m.
Awesome. Simple. You can ask anything. It's just your virtual assistant and getting your things done without any cost. So what all are we going to talk today is about what is conversational UI, the science behind conversational UI, how it works, the chatbots and virtual assistants, then what are the best practices when you develop your own bot someday, and then why now, getting the business needs. So as you can see this image, like it clearly explains how beautifully, like how a human and a robot which is mimicking a human like interaction. It's just giving you a command, the human is giving the commands and the human like robot is just responding to it the way I asked Siri right now. So let me give you an overview what is conversational UI. It mimics a conversation between humans by using a computer to carry out one end of the conversation. It's very simple, like right now if I'm talking to you and you respond me back, that's what is human-like interaction. But then yes, you might be having some emotions or some feelings, like the way you talk, the way your expressions. So the expressions are still lacking, but let's see what future have for us. But then yes, definitely the CUI is continuously evolving and it's nailing every market down there. So it's of two types basically, as you can see, virtual assistant and chatbots. Virtual assistants, something like Siri, Google Assistant, Echo. Chatbots, something like your WhatsApp business account, your Facebook business account. It has those bots. So for example, you are a store owner and you have thousands of customers reaching out to you. So to address those people, to respond their messages, to get to them, you would have required at least half the amount of employees to address those. You will be dependent on manpower. For example, you must have needed around 500 people to respond those messages. But when we have a chatbot, it's just one chatbot, it automatically responds all your customers. So that is something really beautiful about these chatbots. You're not dependent on humans anymore. Just like you just write a piece of code, you have a device, you have a software, and it addresses all your customers at once. So let's go next. Let me quickly show you the evolution of UI, how the UI started long back in the 80s, 90s, and now what we have. So earlier there were just like keyboards, we just had to type and do stuff. Then there was evolution of mouse where we could just use our hand and then adjust the screen and control your screen. Then there came the touch. Touch was very famous, I guess, around 8-9 years ago. When it started, it was a huge hype. Touchscreen mobiles were like something really fancy everybody would love to have. Then you can see now it's the trend of like, hey Alexa, play this music. Hey Siri, what's the time? Hey, when am I current meetings? So these are the virtual assistants. That's the current trending thing in the market. Now let me quickly explain you the science behind the conversational UI. As you can see, there's a speech. And then from speech, it gets converted to a text. Then from text, there's the most core part of it, AI, the much hyped term in tech market right now. What is AI? AI is artificial intelligence, as everybody knows. So there's this branch of AI called natural language processing, which is basically doing all these, which is the main course logic behind the whole conversational flow. Either it's a chat bot, either it's a voice bot. So what is natural language processing? Like it's just the blanket term used to describe a machine's ability to ingest what is said to it, break it down, comprehend the meaning, get the meaningful intent out of it, and then determine the appropriate action that needs to be done with that intent, and then respond back in a language that is understandable by the user. Now that language has to be something like you guys understand. It's convenient for you to understand. It shouldn't be like just a robotic language which makes no sense. Like the way it started 5 years ago, it was pretty much not human interaction. It did not focus on the way the intents are being responded to the users. But now there are proper messages, proper response back. All these is because of the NLP in the AI. So NLP basically, as you can see here, when the text was being converted to the meaningful text, the main thing over here is natural language understanding, NLU, and then the other thing is NLG. So what is NLU and NLG? So it's just the two substreams of NLP, like you can call it subdivisions. NLU is the thing which understanding the message or the text or the speech that you are giving to the machine, and then it tries to get out the meaningful intents out of it. For example, if I say, hey, what's the current time? So the meaningful intent was not hey. The meaningful intent over here was what's the current time? So current time was the meaningful intent. So it just gets converted, and then NLG is something that generates the response. So when Siri responded me, the current time is 9:20 p.m. or whatever. So that's the NLG portion. So it's very simple. Like you say something, it gets into text, and text gets converted to the machine language. It does processing, and then you get the machine language generates the action to be done, and that's converted to text. And then either if it's a chatbot, you get in the text. If it's a voice, you get the response. That text is converted to speech using the speech synthesis. Very simple. So as you can see, I'm showing you chatbots. So these are the very famous chatbots we're seeing every day in our lives, like on Skype when you talk to our clients, when we talk to people, when you're friends. We see Skype, Cortana, then there's Slack. Slack is very famously used in businesses these days. Facebook Messenger that we have been using since quite long, since Facebook evolved, and very famous. And Telegram, Line. So all these chatbots are something that are just based on the NLP thing that we just studied right now. Nothing NLG plus NLU. That's the main core logic out of it. Now, let me explain you the architecture behind it. So over here, as you can see, these are the customer channels, okay? And then this is the query. Out of query, we get the intent, and then that intent goes to the business API. Now these business APIs are what? These are the APIs available open source like IBM Watson and Google's Dialogflow. All these APIs, these are the ones that we are using right now to control our whole flow. But we can even use our own custom if we want. We can have to write those, but then right now we have the flexibility to inherit what Google and Amazon and IBM is already doing. So that's again a win-win situation for us, because we can reuse what they've already developed, and then we can focus on the development side of getting the business logic instead of first working on like how to make those bots and machines. So what it does is it gets to the business API. In the business API, we define the intents, like what we need to do, and what all need to be responded, and how the errors need to be handled, how the customer needs to be responded, and all these things. As you can see here, we get the response back in our app. So it's just a basic architecture view of how the things are working inside. Now, these are the famous virtual assistant we have been seeing every day, as we discussed in the first slide, like the tech giants, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, and Google. As you can see, Cortana, Echo, Siri, and Google Assistant. And these are also getting smarter day by day. Smarter day by day as in, like if I ask Siri, hey, I'm not feeling well, it responds me similar to humans, like, hey, you should probably get some sleep or go for a movie. How is this happening? It's because the AI continuously learns. So these bots, these services that we are using, like IBM Watson, Google's Dialogflow, Amazon's Alex, so all these services are continuously learning, evolving, and that's the reason we are able to seamlessly use them and see them and use them in our day-to-day lives. So now, this is a classic example of Alexa that we are using. For example, a user comes and says, Alexa, tell Headspace I want to sleep. Now the signal processing, beam formation and work word, this happens. Now this gets converted to the audio signal, and then this audio signal is converted to the speech. Now the raw text transcript is NLU takes out NLU that we discussed in the AI. So it processes the statement by tokenizing it into words, like as you can see, tell Headspace I want to sleep. Here the intent is I want to sleep, and the slot is Headspace. So now what is this intent and slot? It is nothing, just a way of actually getting what the task has to be done. So intent is what the action needs to be done, and slot is who needs to do this action. For example, if I say, hey Alexa, play a song on YouTube. So playing a song is the intent and YouTube is the slot. Similarly over here, the Headspace is nothing, it's just a device that controls your room, a hardware device. So Alexa is controlling the Headspace, and when it says, hey, I want to sleep, what Headspace will do, it will just dim the room lights and play a little bit of soothing music so that you get a good sleep. So as you can see, as soon as our intent is fulfilled, a response script and content is generated, which is done by NLG, Natural Language Generation. And then here it says, Alexa responds sure, starting Headspace. And here you can see the response. So pretty simple, guys. Now, you must be wondering, like, should we be using virtual assistant in our day-to-day lives? Some people love using it, some people are tech savvy, some people are still cynic about it, or they still are not completely dependent on these bots. So let me just show you a diplomatic video around it.
Playing jazz.
Playing jazz.
Smoothie.
Making smoothie.
Calendar.
No meetings today. Remember, tandläkare at 9:30.
Fire off.
Fire off.
Open door.
Door open.
Så ska vi sätta en till.
Fire. Open door.
As you can see now, this guy, he was completely dependent on the bots, and he was getting all his day-to-day lifestyle works done by his bot, his virtual assistant. Now he goes to a dentist and he comes back, and now let's see what happens.
Door.
Run voice command.
Open door.
Run voice command.
Open. Open door.
Repeat that.
Open door.
I didn't understand that.
Hey! Open door.
Play on the floor.
Get over the door. Open the door. Open the door.
Error.
Hey, put a rock. Open door. Open door. Open door. Open door. Higher.
Higher volume.
Higher.
So guys, out of this video, what we could see was this guy was continuously trying to open his door, but that was not an opening for him because he just got a mouthpiece surgery done, and then the bots aren't that smart that they can just see you and recognize your expressions and understand what's happening inside you. Probably like if 2 years down the line or maybe 3 years down the line, we might have these as with the pace that AI is evolving, we might have these as well. But as of now, you could be partially dependent on these bots. But yes, it helps to some extent. So, and when this guy was trying to say fire, the volume was going higher. So like the speech to text, this conversion error was like pretty like it was 50% 5 years ago, and now it's less than 5%. So that is something really improvement in AI, and let's see in the future what it has for us. Now, what are the best practices for conversational UI? First is be concise. What is being concise? As we even suggest in our day-to-day talks when we talk to someone that, hey, just explain me the situation in concise, or explain me your problem in concise, and I'll just understand. Being concise is something like, for example, if I'm asking the time, it should just tell me the current time rather than just telling me the whole time. If I say, hey, just set a reminder, it should just respond, the reminder is set. instead of repeating the whole thing, hey, I've set a reminder at 7 p.m. for you with the meeting with XYZ client or whatever. Because we already know what we said, so we don't want it to behave in the robotic way. It should be human-like interaction, the thing that I've been saying since the start of the presentation. And then it has to introduce, for example, if a bot, it just comes and says nothing. So doesn't work. For example, it does not even ask me, hey, how can I help you? I would wonder, what's this happening? And then it should reprompt. Reprompt is something, for example, I opened a voice bot or I opened my chat bot, and then I'm doing nothing. I'm just sitting idle and I'm observing. So even if there was a human on the other side, he would ask you that, hey sir, how can I help you? And then if I'm quiet, it would ask me again that, are you fine? Do you need something? How can I help you? So that's what we want in these bots, and that's already there in Alexa, Siri, Google Assistant. So these are the basically core best practices that is being followed in the industry. Now add variety. What's adding variety? For example, if you go to a booking website, you want to book a travel ticket or something, anything. So when you go there, you should get multiple options. For example, not just flight tickets. It should ask you what kind of travel are you planning, and then there you should see flight, bus, any like car or outstation drives, anything. So you need to add variety, as in like the user needs to get engaged. The more user gets engaged, the more the user will love to use your application. And then there should be proper help and error messages. Number 5. Why? Because like for example, I'm in an application and you're selling a product there. For example, a Facebook chatbot. And then if I say, hey, I want a size 42 in this shoe. So the bot should go and check in the database that this size is available or not in the particular style that I've chosen, or it should give me an error message that, hey sir, sorry, this is not available in the stock. And then again, it should reprompt or add variety, asking me like, would you like to wish list or you want to look for some other shoe? And then the bot can either, depending on the user's interaction, either if the user chooses a wish list, that should be getting into my cart, but then it should be in the save for later section. But if I say I want to look for something else, that's something similar, the bot should just go to the database and get more list of data and get me more pair of shoes down there. And that's how the customers are being engaged. Now, detours and invalid inputs. For example, if I was trying to book a flight ticket and I'm typing a location which does not even exist, or for example, inside the flight tickets, I'm just writing the bot that, hey, I want a bus ticket. So the bot should handle these invalid situations perfectly. It should not be that user should be able to confuse your bot. Like that we usually love to do. Like for example, asking silly questions and seeing that, hey, this is a robot, this is not human. Otherwise it would have responded in a smart way. Like that we humans always do, because we like to be the smartest. So the bot also needs to be the smartest, and we have to make sure that we design a bot in such a way, or we get the error message and everything handled in such a way, or your bot is configured that the response are perfect. And then account linkings and upsellings. Upselling is something that I already discussed with you guys. Upselling is something like, for example, the shoe was not available in the size that I wanted, the style I wanted, but then the bot asked me, do you want to look for other shoes with the same style? That's called upselling. Like you can just cross-sell user, like what do you want to do, what you, so that it's more engaging. Similar to humans, if you go to a store and you ask that, hey, I like that pair of shoe, and if that's not available in your size, the customer guy the customer service guy will definitely get you something, or the sales guy will definitely say you that, hey sir, you can try the other thing. Then intent should always be fulfilled immediately. What is this? This is something like the user should not feel that what the user asked, that is not being done, because nobody likes delays. That's what we all love, like the quick and prompt actions. Either it's a human, either it's a task being done, everything. For example, if I want to set a reminder there, the reminder should be set immediately. If I'm asking to order food for me online, or I'm asking my map to just look for a location because I want to drive there, I want to reach to the location, that should be done immediately. Now, it should not happen that it should take some time, go back, check in systems and come back. Like we have to design it in such a way that it's precise, concise, and gets everything done fast. These are the best practices that we quickly discussed. Now let me take you to the next. Why now is the current time, you must be wondering. So let me show how AI has been going into the business.
Sometimes it feels like we've forgotten. Maybe we can learn learn again from someone who's been learning from us.
Welcome, Benedict.
Learn to recognize each other. Turn on AC.
Turning on AC.
Learn to listen and respond to each other. Play my favorite music.
Playing your favorite music.
Learning to learn about each other. Very obliging. Thanks, Hector. That was fun. It's a human thing.
So guys, now you must be wondering, like the Benedict was asking his car to play the favorite music, and the car played favorite music for him. This is what? This is again NLP and NLG and NLU. It just, the speech was converted to a text. The text was processed in the car, its core music player system. It had AI enabled, and then the response was he was getting the music that he wanted to listen. So it was a classic example of how AI along with the speech recognition is working right now. Now, why right now is the current time? Because like the UI of the conventional UI has become really nice and seamless. As you can see, all the devices and everything are being controlled. We have smart switches, smart curtains, smart fans, smart lights, everything. So all these things are pretty much evolved. And if you see the infrastructure is pretty huge right now, and everything is available. You just have to go and set up. If you want to use Amazon Lex, if you want to use Dialogflow from Google, anything. If you want to use IBM Watson, you just have to use their inbuilt public open source libraries, and you can add your own intents and stuffs over there, which is really amazing. Like you add your slot, you add your intent, and you can just configure everything. Now, let's see what's there with the chatbots and apps. You can get answer to simple questions. There's a 24-hour service. There's no one sitting on the back end and helping you 24/7 to answer your queries. You can get it into your businesses. You can get your business configured with the voice bots and chatbots, and then you can engage your clients 24/7. You don't need anyone to respond to their messages, and they won't ever feel that they are not being taken care of. There will be a sense of personal belonging over there, and of personal attention and care. Then a convenience for us as in like the bots can respond anytime. They don't have to go and grab a tea, or they don't have to go for any like emergency. They're always there and the system is up and running. And then quick answers to complex questions. Now sometimes you know that, for example, you have a business and you know that there are certain set of questions that can be asked by your users, and then the people who you're going to keep in your system, you'll have to train them. You'll have to train them. It's not necessary that everybody who you're training responds in the same manner, or in the same tone, or with the same logic, or with the same smartness. But bots, yes, bots can be configured in such a way that each time a customer comes, they're responded in such a manner that they never feel offensive, or they feel that the response is pretty apt, and it redirects them to the particular business use case that we want to sell. The ease of communication, it's always there. Then ability to register a complaint easily. For example, if I want to drop a complaint 4 years ago or 5 years ago, I had to go and drop an email. With the email, they used to create a case in the back end, and then they used to come with the case ID, and then they used to say that, hey, this is a case ID, keep in touch. Then either we have to go to the calling system or drop them an email again and again with the follow-ups. But chatbots, you can just quickly go to, for example, any travel website. Recently I used for filing a complaint for my lost baggage. I just had to go to the flight website. I had to put my PNR. It asked me certain questions. I responded that. Then it just asked me documents right there. The chatbot asked me everything, and I just put everything over there, and my complaint got lodged. And then I automatically got called from their team, so I didn't have to do any follow up. And then a good customer experience. As in, like, I wasn't disappointed by the way they responded, or the way because there might be a case humans can be rude when they're responding to your clients or customers, because not everybody is in the same mood or in the same emotion. So bots, they make sure that everything is being responded in the same mood, same manner, and same tone. And then they are friendly, and then everything is perfect with these things. So I guess it's pretty much clear why the businesses are moving towards the chatbots rather than apps and the conventional systems. Okay guys, thank you.